So there will be a lot of opinion and discussion as things unfold. Obviously, it will become more and more clear. But we did get a lot of direction. So starting out last night, Mila jumped on with the news, all right, and she's come out and said that the $10 to open up your crypto unit tab, if you are an existing SWIG or TNG member, is going to stay in place. So if anyone's had an old account, all they need to do is spend $10 and they open up their crypto unit account and they're good to go. There were about 70,000 registrations so far in December, but we have 3 days to go. We now have 5 Sushi Masters, and today the one in Minsk opened, which is our 100% franchise. All right, so we've got friends in Minsk. I'm sure, Alex, you could probably get someone to do a selfie over the shoulder of it.
Already sent the article out and asked him to give me a call later.
Okay, so and that means that we must have at least 4 50/50 stores. Now that was only 2 50/50 stores and a 100% store coming. So we're moving forward on the Sushi Master. Now, who saw yesterday the Master Grill in Spain that Jose and Galena opened up?
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, saw that.
Yeah.
So somewhere in the thing, you know, we're going to have Sushi Master and Master Grill, like a steakhouse, Burger Master, Vegan Master, Pizza Master. All right. Is there like a few different restaurants we can have there? Would that be classed in the liquid asset kind of realm? All right. We're obviously going to start really beefing up the number of them we've got, which will go to the ongoing revenue, which will help with our monthly bonuses, won't it? All right. So that's just one angle, but man, that was really cool. Oh, hi, Neil. You did jump on. How you hopping?
Hi, guys. Yeah, I'm crunching.
All right. Well, you're better than lying there doing nothing, eh? So I'm going to hack through this and we're going to get to the meat and potatoes, and we're going to potentially bounce things off Neil and a few others that were on the call to make sure we've got the same sort of story amongst everyone. So Mila also said the 200 free crew, the 2,000 for finding 2 people, and the 5,000 for going consultant, those bonuses are going to be extended to the 15th of January. Giddy up, all right? Then she talked about the 8K gold coin for a while there. She said there's a couple of new payment windows. One that is Westpac bank deposit. I've used it. It was fairly quick. Okay. And they had a new visa for the CIS region over in Europe. So they released a lot of master profit dates and locations. Sorry, young Jasmine just asked for a pen. Now, they said there was a 2-day first steps training coming in. And they also released that the October event will be in Moscow on the 19th and 20th of October. I expect on the 18th there'll be a managers meeting, and I expect on the 22nd to 25th there'll probably be a top managers meeting as well. All right, so there'll be a week or so there. And now that we know the dates, we can start looking at setting up 1-day tours or 5-day tours like we did in India, so we can make an experience of it. Because when I went to Malaysia, we had like a really short half-day look around. But when we went to India, we were out for like 5-6 days. It was absolutely awesome to experience it. So we'll be lining up to do that in both Vietnam in March, April, and Moscow in October. So there's a couple of holidays for us. Yeah, Francis. Then we had a whole procession of speakers. Jamelia came on and shared some stuff with us, which is quite interesting. Dragos did a session on mindset and removing the limiting beliefs, which I believe was very good. We need to really throw away some of our limitations. Then Harry Singh came on and talked about dreams and so forth. You could tell he was really nervous. But he had some really good content, didn't he? Then we had what I call story time with Cam. We had like a bit of a home video photo session. Then Hawksy jumped on, was in and out real quick, which is good.
Yeah.
But released the fact that on the 28th and 29th of March in Hanoi in Vietnam, we're going to have our Asia Pacific function. I tell you what, the one that was in KL, Kuala Lumpur last year was the one that woke me up. Okay.
Who's coming to that?
Who's going to Vietnam? That's going to be big. Especially when we're going to tour around in a couple of 50-seater buses and take over Hanoi, mate, and all the sites around it. So I expect on the 27th or the evening of the 27th, there'll be a managers meeting of some kind. And then on the 1st to the 2nd, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, I think, of April, there'll be like a top managers retreat as well. So really, really exciting there. And that will be for top managers above. Now, everyone on this call can get there if they try it hard enough. All right? Absolutely. Now, this challenge that Hawksy's got us access to, 20 and 30, do that in the next 30 days. I'll tell you what, you'll be punching over top manager by the time April comes around, or March comes around. After that, Dr. Lydia was going to come on and had technical issues, so she didn't. And then Amans came on and spoke about gratitude, which is really relevant, I think, and he did very well, although fairly quick, because they were catching up time, so that we could get Andre in. But what also Amans did is he shared that some of us already might have known this, but 10% bonus on any EIP packages that you've bought. And he gave the example of an 8,000 pack in stage 1, where the people who got one of those got 4,960,000 tokens. So just as a bonus, you're going to get 496,000 tokens now in January. Now, who's got one of those 8,000 packs he described?
Whoop, whoop. Yeah.
Neil's got one. All right, there's a few of us that got stage 1, so we just got a cool 500,000 tokens as a bonus. Thank you.
How cool is our CEO?
Yep.
Absolutely.
That man comes from an amazing place, doesn't he?
But here's the thing: there's people with like 1 million tokens, right, that came in the latter stages, or 500,000 or 40,000 even, and they're starting to get 5, 10, and 20 or 100,000 tokens as a bonus. All right, now that's where that gets real, because you know they're talking about each token being $2 by the end of next year, minimum, if the free market doesn't drive it higher. I think, look at Mr. Smirky Morrison over there. All right, when we're on the free market, I believe they're going to drive higher, but on the schedule, it's going to be $2 by December next year. So if you had 100,000 tokens, you get 10,000 bonus. He just gave you 20 grand. Thank you. All right. So, which makes, you know, the 200 crew would be worth $400 by December next year as a free gift. If you go out and find 2, you get 2,000. That could be $4 grand. Right? It really puts some of these promotions in perspective, doesn't it? All right. So, man, I'm just stoked over the moon. We had people jumping around the room, because I don't think Brenda or any of her clan knew that yet or understood that, because they were all bouncing off walls, those guys. All right. He also gave us the ability to subscribe to the 8 rules of a private investor training that has been started. I've put that in our group. It's just a registration link. You can follow through the rest of it for free, which will be worth it. Our membership is up to 924 500,000 people. We were shooting for 1 million before the end of December. But hey, we've still got 2 to 3 days left, haven't we? And in a day, 19,000 people joined. So we're going to go damn close to hitting that 1 million by New Year's Eve. Okay, now in amongst that, there were 12,349 consultants, 4,069 managers, 1,344 leader managers, 431 top managers, 160 VPs. All right, we've got at least 2 or 3 of them in the room here, and 71 presidents. We've got a couple of them in the room here now. So it's a pretty exclusive company, guys. We did so well during that promotion to rank right up, I tell you. Then Andre basically showed us the amount of investments we've made. I think it's up to about 50 million, and our portfolio value, and he worked through it. So the portfolio value is 153,600,000 and something, up about 30 million from last time we heard it. And he worked through all of the different instruments we had there. All right, now I'm not going to go through all of them, but all very exciting stuff. Diamonds. All right. He talked a lot about the gold mines, and he talked a lot about different C1 and C2 things and different tonnages. And I think we lost a lot in translation there. But what I did get is that we've got 13.3 tonne of gold. Imagine 13.3 tonne of gold sitting on a pallet in your lounge room. How cool is that? All right. So all that's going towards backing our token, and he did reiterate that he does want to have each token backed by 35 grams of gold ultimately. Current market value, about $1,750 per token. Now, we're going to do that next week? No. Of course, it's going to take a bit of time, but mate, the way they're working on their gold mines, obviously the Ural Gold is producing. They've got another couple of gold mines that they're working on, all right, to get producing as well. So he then talked about the, sorry, Neil?
I was just going to say, I think the total amount that they're waiting to get the certification on, or the official documents, is over 800 tonne.
I did have 800 written here somewhere.
Yeah, so that's sort of in the ground, and it's getting the right companies that can clarify that with the official documentation saying this is here, which kind of gives them the ability to actually plan and schedule their mining over the next 10 to 20 years. So sweet. There's plenty there for us to tap into, I guess is what I'm trying to get at there.
Well, I need to talk to you about that because I've got a friend who's got a gold mine license up in the Northern Territory somewhere, and no way to actuate it. Right. Maybe we have a way now. He talked about the profits in December, which weren't good. All right, but we had some go down, some go up, and we still made a profit. So giddy up. So don't expect a big bonus profit come early January. Did he share the turnover we've had so far in December, or didn't this time now? I missed it if he did.
No, I didn't hear that.
Okay. All right. So one would expect that's better than last month, but not by too much. I'd be guessing. I'd say it'd be about 2 or 3 times last month, but not back to where it was in September, October. Somewhere in that range, I would expect.
I think there's been a steady increase coming up to the end of the month.
Yep. And I reckon there'll be a bit of a rush coming in too, just to get it in. But the fact that we can't use credit card in many countries is just slowing it down a bit, I think, because we've got to wait for bank deposits and Bitcoin and so forth. So I'm sure that problem will be solved when the Shakard sort of kick in, won't it?
The card, the Genie Pay coming in together. Sounds will be a real cool mechanism for us to be able to move money in and out the system much easier.
Yeah. Well, in that point, you can buy units in that. Could be to buy a dress at a fashion store in Singapore, or it could be to buy an EIPS package in the back office. So they can't really shut you down, can they, as such, when you've got a loyalty payment. So when the old Genie Pay, UG Pay, Shikard kicks in, I think, yeah. You got an opinion on that, Neil?
Well, there's sort of so much talk about the Shikard card, but we don't really know. There's a lot of components to it. So I'm hoping that we're going to get a training on it soon. I mean, if you look at our journey up to this point, we could all talk Skyway off the back of our hands, piece of cake, because we knew it intricately. But as all these other new assets are coming to our portfolio, we don't know, we don't bet on them. So Shikard is one of them. And I believe that they're hopefully going to be putting a training together on that. So we will understand that intricately. And that, you know, Andre sees that as a really big mechanism and as a tool for us to actually bring how we're in the open markets then, with the possibility of selling nodes, that the Shikard, like the cafes and stuff like that, can be incentivized with nodes where they're actually mining coin and making money and incentivizing all their customers to be a part of the whole system. So it's interesting, but it's like, I don't know enough about all that stuff yet. And this is the training that we're waiting to get on it. So the more training and knowledge that we get and understanding that intricately, it's going to be a massive, massive tool, you know, in helping us all grow our structures. So exciting times coming up, you know, with all the things still to be launched.
Yeah, absolutely. And now amongst all that, I remember noting down that Shikard, a lot of the volumes and so forth that go through that will be going through our structures, commissionable. So, hello, if you start getting retail stores in restaurants, things like that, that could put a lot of volume through, even if it's a percentage of, guys. And add it to EIP sales and whatever else we're doing, mate, it'll just really chop things up. I found that rather exciting. Neil? Andre
did say, because like I think he said, I'm not sure if it's like a loyalty reward system in the Shikard card, but that loyalty reward system could actually easily be the CRU loyalty reward system, or as a perk in gaining more CRU. So there's some exciting stuff that's going to really come out with that. The sooner we can get some training going on that, the better. But I guess they'll allow that, I guess, when they're getting closer to the launch for it.
Cool. All right, now we'll get into the nuts and bolts a bit here, and then we'll kind of open it up and just get people to share what they heard, because there was a lot of information, and I've got pages of notes. And when Andre kind of goes from one thing, then has a thought over here, and then he comes back, and then he goes there, it's sometimes hard to track with the translator, all right? So I've got notes all over the place, and I'm trying to work out the sequence. But you get used to it. Once you listen to Andre a few times, you get used to it, and you can kind of follow his track. But I rather the guy translator than the lady. I tend to understand him better for some reason. But now, nuts and bolts. January, he said in the next 20 days, they'll be entered into the register on the Ethereum network. And one of the things in that, there will be public announcements on the transactions, both daily and weekly, or when they occur. So it's kind of open book. So we can see what's in the portfolio. Now, I think he said either 2 or 3 different third-party auditors are going through our financials at the moment. We're negotiating with them as we speak. So it sounds like our portfolio will be visible for the public to see. But then later in the presentation, he did put a caveat on that it would be visible for those who've spent $5,000 or more on an EIP package.
Yeah.
Neil.
So that what I got out of that, and there's a lot of people that ask, I guess, questions that have only put in $100. And if you look at any of these major investment companies, the smaller you have to be able to see the annual books or the monthly books and where everything is. So Andre's basically going to do that within our organisation. It's like if you have, I think it's a minimum of 5,500 invested into an EIP package, then you will get access to the monthly audit of the company, which is yours. You'll get it emailed out. But anybody less than that, they won't get access to it. So kind of incentive to get up there and get in with the big boys, if that's the way to word it. Probably not quite the right wording. But the report's going to come out on a regular basis through one of these top auditing companies. So that's really, really good.
So the public announcements then, obviously they're going to be showing some transactions. So that's got to have some kind of transparency there anyway.
Yeah, I guess whatever the audit people can see and or oversee or see and gauge, then that's going to go into the audit, isn't it? So it's whatever's visible, which will be all the transactions, obviously, will end up in the report.
Well, I guess the point is most of us have spent more than 5,000, so most of us will have access. And look, if you've got a big player that needs to see that, I'm sure you could do a Zoom and look over the shoulder, as long as it doesn't get out on the social media. All right, because that's when people do silly stuff on social media, isn't it? So on that, it said from February to March, they were. Now I'll get this. I'll get the. Oh, come on. I'll just get the thing up, guys. The screen share. Oh. Oh, did you see this, guys? This is our land in Thailand, wasn't it? Phuket, Thailand. They got all the villas. Phuket. The polite way of saying it. Oh, hang on. How do you get to the next one? All right, here's all the different villas. They got the floor plans, all that there. This is the one they were going to build on the Black Sea, the Crimea. See, that's remember that, the Google map. It's on the Black Sea. We've got a block of land up here and another lot in here and then another one down on the beach. I mean, these are all going to be timeshared, all that sort of stuff. So that was really exciting as he was working through there. Here's the portfolio, 153,738,000. This is the one we were trying to get to. So as of the 15th of January, access to the market, creation of a blockchain, and issue of settlement unit tokens.
So just a clarification there, part 2, stage 1, or phase 2, stage 1 will start on the 8th of January.
8th, is it? Okay.
The 8th. The reason why it's delayed, not the 1st, is because they celebrate Christmas over there on the 7th.
Okay.
I think we've actually got a bit of breathing space there too on some of those promotions through to that date as well.
Well, they said the 15th. Mila was saying the 15th, and I think the 8th got mentioned as well, so it's there somewhere. Now, January, they were going to basically list entered into the register on the Ethereum blockchain. All right. They're going to be working on the blockchain and white paper and roadmap until March 2019. The valuation of the CRU assets is ongoing right now with more than one company. And they're conducting an internal financial audit, which is underway right now. Now, this is where it gets a bit fuzzy, but this is what I took out of it. February, March, they were going to do like a closed exchange to allow people to buy and sell CRU if they needed to. And they would defreeze some of the tokens for those who bought in early stages. Do you have any clarification on that, Neil?
No, not on the dates, because that says they're February to May. But when you say defreeze, so if you think about when you're launching a product, CRUs, it needs to be released. So when he says defreeze, it's I guess it'll be sort of an order of so those that purchased at stage 1, and then the next release will be in stage 2 and stage 3 and so on. But it won't be the full amounts. I don't think there'll be a percentage of what you purchase, and I think they were quite low in the beginning, sort of between 1 and 5%. But increasing as we open up each stage or each next level. So, but there's not been any finalised numbers and sequences on that yet. Cool, if that makes sense.
I mean, not that you'd want to be giving too many of these away. I mean, I'll be holding as many. No. But there are people who need to.
Yeah, I got a close friend of mine that's been, you know, when can I sell? I just want to get rid of enough of these so I can get rid of my mechanical shop and sail off into the sunset. And I was talking to him a little bit earlier today, and it's like, well, there's going to be that opportunity to come up, that opportunity. And he's now says, oh no, I'm not selling yet, and you know, he's not talking about doing and even looking at it till they're probably close around the dollar mark anyway. Hopefully be sort of mid-year, a little bit later.
Yeah, and look, you wouldn't want to sell them for any less than $1 anyway, because if you sell them for, you know, 10 or 20 cents, you're throwing away $1,000 bills, really, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. When you know where this thing's going, and every one of those is just so valuable, you know. That 200 free minutes, God, what a gift that is.
Yeah. But look, we know there's people out there that need a little influx of funds just to keep the wolves from the door, and you know, and and we understand that people that have to do that, and they might want to sell a few just to get a couple of grand in to ease the stress, you know.
Well, yeah, I hear what you're saying there, and yeah, I do kind of understand that, but I mean, you know, everybody, you kind of look at where we've come to this point, you know, after October, and the sales sort of dropped off quite dramatically, sort of, you know, end of October, November, December, starting to pick up now. But it's like, what this thing, in my eyes, and I can see Andre working towards that, is something that's live on an exchange, something that has credibility in the real world, as opposed to a pre-IPO build-up and all that sort of stuff. Yep. And I think what we're very close to actually being presented in the next 30 days. You said 20, he said between 20 and 30 days to get that on the exchange. When we actually have our product on the exchange in some form, one way or another, it's going to give what we're doing credibility. And so where I'm going with this is, like, you know, people that need a couple of extra bucks, they're actually going to have a product now that has credibility on an open market. They'll be easier for them to talk to their friends and family and go, this is real, look, this is what's happening. You know, come and get it. So there's some really good bonus units available from sharing this, and you know, we need more people. So if you want to get those little snippets out of it to just meet the power bill or put a bit of extra food on the table, well, just make a list of, you know, you're running this 20-30. I'm not sure if you're doing that in here as well, but there's a whole
many of us are.
A team of like. team of like-minded people working together, and like when you just take those steps in that direction, you're going to grow yourself personally, and you're going to create a different financial situation. That's what 2020 is going to be all about. It's going to be a massive year of growth for many people.
Well, that's my takeaway from this, Neil, as well. You know, all those people in October, oh, I didn't launch, this is fake, it's not, and it's all that. Basically, all those excuses are out the freaking window. This is the real deal. Like, no more questions. This is the real deal. It's on the exchange. The fact that you, me, Alex, and many others have seen all the contracts with our own eyes, the fact that it's actually listed on an exchange and tradable, just throws it out the window. All right? All those BS excuses that people are coming on to sit on their hands and do nothing, gone. Let's go. All right?
Yeah, if you understand the bigger picture here, so we've got 10 stages is going to roll out. So we're about to release another 20 billion tokens, crypto unit. So 20 billion divided by 10, and each get the chart he did, and I showed the value of the token at each stage. And I'm not sure whether it started at 0.05 or 0.105. I'm not 15. I'm not sure. But if it's 15 cents, and I think the starting price there will be determined on what the whole the audit that's coming back in as to what the total value of the company and all the assets and everything that we have now will determine what that opening price is. But if it's, let's say it's 15 cents, or let's just say it's 10 cents. 2 billion. So what's 10 cents times 2 billion? What's that? How much is that?
200 million, isn't it?
Is it 200 million or 20 million? Hang on.
2 billion. Take off a zero.
Times
It'd be 200 million.
Is it? Sure.
Yep. You just take a zero off.
Hang on. Let me just get my head around that one. Times 0.1. Yeah. So that's just at 10 cents in stage one. Now, knowing that it's now, so if you take the loyalty program, 10% of that is 20 million.
Just 10 times what we've been getting in September.
Yeah, but if that's just at 10 cents and the money that will be generated from that, if you just start doing the math on that back into the loyalty program, and you work out how many you've got and what that loyalty payment would be. Now there is a poll did you do the poll, Andrew, that came out during the presentation last night
about the blockchain?
One of the questions was the blockchain. The particular about is the split between stage loyalty bonus paid between stage 1 and stage 2. So the poll had 50-50 split. So with the loyalty payments accumulated, and then 50% goes into the stage 1 loyalty payments, and then 50% goes into stage 2 loyalty payments, right? Or the split could be 60-40 or 70-30. So 60% goes into phase 2 loyalty payments, and then 40% goes into the phase 1 loyalty payments, or 70-30. So those were the three options there. And I guess like it depends on your personal opinion on what you're doing, what you're going to do personally, as to how you would best benefit from that. But when you look at the reason I kind of brought that up is when you look at 200 million and 10% of that is 20 million. Well, you know, that's like 10 times more revenue than what we were doing. That's only at 10 cents. So as we go up and as the demand goes up, you think about some of the big players out there now that that can see, because the loyalty payment is paid every month. So if you imagine a big player coming in, and even if it's 50%, if you look at what size they've got, they're going to get a reasonable loyalty payment back with the very first month, the very first loyalty payment. So we're just starting to play it in a bigger field with bigger money and bigger loyalty rewards. And then, of course, I mean, if you've got 20 million coming back in, at 10 cents, you've got 20 million coming back into the loyalty program, then that leaves you, you know, over 180 million for them to build the portfolio. So everything's just gonna go bang, 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 bang. And it's gonna create this whole global hype of people like, this thing's just growing. How do I get involved? And
well, a lot of people right now are sort of wondering, like, how do we get the now money? Now, a couple of things on that. One, we just got justified, right? It's undeniable now, right? So it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to build this than what it was before, because we can say, there it is. And we're not going to say it's going to be. It is. It's a different statement. Now, the other thing is, as you said, Neil, I think that the portfolio is just going to swoop through at some point and just grab us off the ground and fly off with us, aren't they? All right. Now, when's that going to be? Is it going to be February, March, June, or August? Really, it doesn't matter as long as we get through until that point. Now, to get through, go and do the 20 and 30 days, as Neil just said. You want to get an income? Create one.
Well, if you look on Andre's, Alex did a great live this afternoon, only about an hour before this, and the power of writing stuff down, so powerful. You know, you look at Andre, you know, he said all year he wanted 1 million people in the structure. And, you know, he's only just missed it by, you know, by 10% less.
Well, he hasn't missed it yet. It's not over.
Now his goal. So if you look at his goal in this organisation, now, how they come in here or whatever, but he's written that goal down. We're all part of it. And they're going to come in one way or another, whether you do it or whether I do it or whether you don't do it, they're going to be in there. So there's a huge opportunity now with the credibility that everybody's going to get as this thing's live and everybody can see it and go, wow, and it's happening. Man, they're going to be coming knocking to get a piece of this. Bang. Well, you've got to be at least 5,500 if you want to get the monthly report. Boom.
I said, cough up, and you imagine commissions start flowing through there. So, no, that's really exciting. And look, as we move through, we get to mining and the Shikard and the UG Bank and the Genie Pay and all that's going to incorporate into it. And you're going to have mining. I mean, who'd love to be mining some of these crypto units, knowing where they're going? Hello. All right. And there'll be opportunities with Shikard as well to secure, I expect, businesses as well. It'd be like signing up a business. It'd be like signing someone up a person times 10, because they'll have a lot more volume, won't it?
You're starting to see the coming together of the new economic evolution of the world. Yep. You know, if you are, you know, there's another tick box questionnaire about, do we want to build our own blockchain, and which particular coin we use on there. But the advantages of actually having our own blockchain are massive. So currently, Bitcoin is, I think, the biggest in the world, and they have how that functions. And I don't know enough about the depth stuff of this, but they have nodes, and these are obviously all the junction points that allow it to happen and get all these confirmations go through these nodes. They have 13,000 nodes, which makes Bitcoin's blockchain the biggest on the market at the moment. So we built our own. The goal is to have 100,000 nodes. And those nodes not only are your junction points for the confirmations, but they're also mining machines. So that's potentially huge. It really puts us as the biggest blockchain organization in the world, and probably the most secure. and it also makes us attractive for other organizations to come and be a part of our blockchain. It just opens up so many massive opportunities.
Absolutely. I mean,
Andrew, can I just pop in there quickly with regards to the nodes?
Yeah, share away, Leon.
I was having a with regards to the mining and the mining machines and the what's it? I think Andre mentioned 100,000 nodes. If I'm not mistaken, was that correct? Right? For the actual mining, but his whole vision, and there's a very particular vision. I was having an in-depth conversation the other day with Armand with regards to the decentralized or the decentralization of cryptocurrency, where we feel that cryptocurrency, the great advantage that you have with cryptocurrencies is the fact that it is decentralized. In other words, it can't be controlled from a single point, right? And the big worry at the moment is with, for instance, Bitcoin, is that the mining has become so uneconomical that your local guy in his garage with a couple of mining machines is not, because because of the electricity that's drawn, you know, and they're all guys. So what has happened is especially over the last 2-3 years, mining has become, Bitcoin mining specifically, because of the cost of the machines, cost of electricity and stuff like that, which means that the only real mining that's, or the largest part of the mining that's happening at the moment, by mining I mean the confirmation of the transactions and everything, is happening by the big mining farms out in Iceland and those places where it's kind of affordable, because you don't need that much power to keep the mining machines cool. Long story short, what is behind this is where the ownership of those big mining farms lie. And so, because we're looking at although the blockchain is decentralized, or the mining facilities are all 2 or 3 big ones around the world, and those are owned by, which means that, you know, all they need to do is flip the switch, and if they can, I mean, if they want to, they can actually turn off so much of the mining nodes in one go that it gets so slow that it really isn't worth anything. So that is a worry with regards to Bitcoin blockchain, really. The blockchain itself and the idea itself is really centralized, but because of the mining cost and the fact that big mining farms are owned by wealthy elite, again, we're looking at centralization there. And there is what Andre was saying between the lines yesterday. It's really important. Making those mining nodes themselves, so, because he mentioned it, he actually said you could actually just have an old lady, he's actually said an old lady, or the translator said an old lady, could just plug in a wall plug and her Ethernet or internet connection to this little box, and there you go. She's a miner. Although an adult, but I'm saying this could, he's the whole idea of decentralizing and making sure that the decentralization of the blockchain is really stays decentralized. So you don't have that issue. I know that because I've had that in-depth conversation with Armand, and he said to me that was one of Andre's big worry, is that centralization taking place. Even we
know, you've just sort of confirmed that yes, we do need to build our own blockchain, and we do need to get as many nodes out there as possible into the hands of, and keep them in the hands of the smaller grannies in their granny flats around the world.
Exactly, keep the power with the people.
Yeah. So the decentralized part is a big key to it. So yeah, exciting. It's really, really exciting. I see you got to go, Brian.
I'm going to have to leave you. Thanks very much. And
Cheers,
I
Brian.
look forward to getting the recording on. Cheers.
No worries. Cheers, Brian.
See you. Happy. Yeah.
So, no, that's really exciting that we can be the miners as well, because you could go out and set all your little family members up as different nodes and you know, cash in that way as well. Is
When
my
you look at the ones now, if you go back to what you're talking about before, about some people just needing that little bit of extra coin, you know, this is another income stream for them. Grab a node and start mining, making some extra stuff. And with the crypto unit,
He's so. I've said it so many times. You know, that man. I've met him, what, 3 or 4 times now, and he's just. I just love his brain. He's just a genius. He is phenomenal, and he's all about us. It's not about him taking as much as possible. It's all about giving us the best he can possibly give us, and I'm blown away by him each and every time I listen to him. Like, just, I'm in awe. We're so lucky to be where we are and be a part of this.
well, imagine you know, when they flew us all over to Belarus, Alex. How cool was that? I mean, what, about 300 people they flew from all around the world, all expenses paid.
True.
There's method to all his madness. Sometimes we go, you know, why would he do that? We send him and put that money into their portfolio. But
Look at the explosion.
you know, he created more leaders, and he created presidents. If you look at, we're still only 5 years old. We're still a baby company in the MLM world. We're babies. But if you look at just the massive growth that just happened from the launch of the crypto unit in March of this year, jeepers, this year. I keep saying last year, it's this year. You know, there's, what do you say, 71 presidents now, you know, yep. And it's like, it really makes other organizations stand up and go, wow, what's really going on with these guys? But when you think about, you know that Amans and Mila, there's a whole group of them just went to Eric Worre, which is the sort of no labels MLM sort of conference of the year, learning conference of the year, with the Mans and Andrew sort of taking VIP seats and a few others as well. You know, you're rubbing shoulders with these other massive leaders that these guys have to build teams of hundreds of thousands of people, you know, to sort of to get their big paychecks. Well, we're not in the same sort of boat as them, but we potentially, as we run through and build our new system, it becomes attractive for them with our blockchain when they want to. You know, it's like, oh well, I could put my whole business down through onto here and find a far better way to get our product out and do that with their customers, with their members and everything as well. So there's so much potential with what's happening, and those conversations are already starting, just because of being in the places with these guys. Mm-hmm. It's massive. Massive. What else you got on your list there, Andrew?
Here's one that's going to throw a few curveballs in there, that they're going to have a derivative instrument called World CRU. Now, this is kind of like a futures contract or something like that, where the value of that cannot be less than the value of the token itself. He mentioned also that things are going to be listed on the stock exchange, like the NEEW, the futures exchange, and so forth. Right now, here we might, if you've got any more information on that, that'd be great.
I guess the only thing I've heard, and when you sort of throw in the NEEW and these other sort of common real world exchanges, but I've heard the term as a stable coin.
Yep.
Which allows it to be put out in the blockchain crypto world, if that's the right terminology. so that's the route that I thought they were going. But I guess the thing is what what makes it stable is what you want to know. And I think that stability will actually come from our gold reserves. I'm not sure if he's
Actually, while you're talking there, Neil, on point 3, June to August, entering the market and crypto exchanges with the unit utility tokens and with CRU or World CRU Stable Coin and launch of the new UGP data bank application. So that's kind of mid-year. They're looking to do all that.
Yeah,
and they do actually say stable coin.
Yeah, so that's there's a shitload of money being made in the stablecoin market. If you look at the existing crypto markets and the what's going on out there, it's so volatile. You know, Bitcoin can jump up $20 or $30 in the space of an hour, if not less. It's so volatile, and it's not a market that these big players want to play in. But when you've got a coin that's in the stablecoin market, if you go and look at the amount of money that's been raised for these projects that are in these stablecoin products out there, they're generating some really good money. And the reason for that is because the coin that they're purchasing is stable. It's a bit like the fiat currency. It's it's stable like that. So it's much easier to it's more attractive for the bigger players to come out there and participate. So that's really good. But what I like also seeing that number 3 there is that's probably where we're going to see the launch, like all of that coming out in conjunction, because you've got UGPay in there and the data bank application. So that whole UGPay, WCR stablecoin, and with that whole thing, because if you remember in Goa, and they did show, was it Igor? No, it wasn't Igor. It was one of the other guys. Actually showed the structure, the company structure, and how all the money will flow in and out all the different companies. And one of them was coming through. You've got there. It says the data bank application. So remember, we do have the banking license. We do have those licenses. So we do have that connection. So that's a part of bringing the linking all the dots together, so to speak, because that data bank application allows it to bring in UGPay, and I think in UGPay as well as the CR, the World Crypto unit on the stablecoin. So it makes it for a really exciting time around that point. I think the ability to actually move money in and out as well.
Yep.
So we'll see more of that. I mean, the way that Andre explains a lot of stuff, and as you said, it's kind of like all over the place. It's kind of like there's so many dots out there, and we're just trying to connect them all as to how this all flows through and where it's all going. So, yeah,
with the stable
really
coin,
exciting.
could it be like a place where people want to park money instead of like leaving it in, in different or in US dollars, which is depreciating? They can park it in this, knowing that the portfolio is only going to increase it in size. So when they pull the money out again, it's more than what they started with. Is that what you're kind of indicating?
Yeah, I think so. And the thing is, so what makes the stable coin? What makes our WCRU stable? And I'm pretty sure it'll be one of our gold assets.
Mm-hmm.
Which is because stable. So yeah, we'll know more about that as the year goes on. If you just think about, so if you look at sort of these 4 pointers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, as we go through the year and as each one of these are implemented into our system, it's going to give our product and our company, everything that we're doing, it's going to give it more credibility, more validity in everything that we're doing. It's going to just make us more attractive to a wider part of the market. So these are almost like high points where we can leverage off that as individuals to help grow these structures. So if we're talking maybe Shikard in around number 3 between June and August, Andre was talking, I'm sure he was talking of 5 million sort of around the mid-year, maybe third quarter of the year. to have 5 million people in our structures. So, but that could come off the Chicard card. We'll see.
That's pretty cool just there. And I think there's going to be so much more to that than what we can imagine at this very point. But the point being here that I take away is, mate, it's time to run now, because every one of these things, the 4 points there that we tick off, more and more of the masses are going to start flowing into this. How big a team do you want before the masses come in?
Well,
guess what?
But here's the thing with that. You know, each one of these points as we move through is high points, which create people wanting to come and purchase and get involved with our closed club. But they're going to be paying the market rate. So we could be in June, they could be paying 50 cents by then. We've got 2 billion. What's the income for that stage? It's silly numbers. 500 million? I don't know. It's ridiculous.
It could get insane.
And so you think about those people starting to pay bigger money to get their crypto units, and then the following month, because there's been such a great month, they're going to get a really good loyalty payment. The very next thing, wow, they're going to tell their friends, and they're going to want to buy some more because of what it's doing. You know, you're purchasing 1 month, you're getting a loyalty payment the following month. You're also going to tap into, don't forget that our portfolio is growing as well. So we're going to have a lot more money to build that portfolio even bigger, not to mention some other products already in the portfolio that might just jump out and bite us in the bum in a nice way. But then, so you've got like 2 income streams, plus you've got an asset that's only going to continue to grow. The asset being the value of the portfolio. That just goes up and up and up and up. It's like, what are people missing here? But that's where this is where it's going to come from when we're operating in the real markets where people can see and do everything. That's what's so exciting.
Now, I think Rod was waving his hand around before. Did you want to ask something or share something, Rod?
Not really, Andrew. I'm late getting in here today. I don't know.
Were you just doing this? Were you like,
woo? Well, I might have just been, getting excited. But
or waving at the missus, say, "Get me a coffee." I might have been that. Get you in trouble.
I'll tell you, I'm so excited about the basalt. That's, to me, that is. I mean, it's going to be worth absolute trillions. That.
You want to know how much?
It's amazing.
You want to know how much?
Well, he said between 1,000 and 3,000 trillion dollar industry. That's 15 zeros behind either a 1 or a 3. That's a lot of money. Now, we own a company, or we own 50% of a company that could get 25 of the market share, which is 12.5% of that kind of money.
So let me run the math for you. Hang on. So in our portfolio, we have over 1.6 billion shares in the Skyway technology. And we've, over the last 4.5 years, probably still now, we've raised in excess of $150 million to help get that technology where it is. Now, if you add up our portfolio's percentage and you add up all the individual percentages that we have together, and the total cost of that, it's probably only about 10% ownership of that technology. Now, it's really, really exciting because that technology that whole transport industry is a $500 trillion industry. It's massive. And then once all those rail systems are being built and people are using them on a regular basis, then that's going to be a really big cash cow coming into our portfolio and into our bonus property payments. So let's just put that to the side for a minute. Let's just put it to the side. Just keep that in the back of your head. And then now let's talk about the basalt. So the basalt is a 3,000 to a 5,000 trillion dollar industry. Let me say that again. A 3,000 to a 5,000 trillion dollar industry.
10 times the size of the transport.
So if we just look at the initial target being 1,000 trillion, And then our company that we are 50% ownership of is going to target, it believes it's well placed to gather 26% of that market. So 26% of that market is 260 trillion. If we're just targeting 1,000 at this point, right? So we own 50% of that. So 50% of 260 trillion is 130 trillion. Now, if you go back to our slide with our CRU and the capitalization of our portfolio, Andre's saying a capitalization will be between the next 4 to 8 years to reach that $100 trillion value, right? Now, here we have one product alone, Basalt, that can potentially get, our percentage of that is 130 million. So when you divide that, and I'm not sure if the number's correct, but if you divide 130 trillion by 80 billion, I think it gives each crypto unit a value around $1,475, something like that. So as we move forwards with that, and it might not necessarily happen in the timeframes that Andre wants, although I suspect it will, that's massive growth beyond our portfolio's initial capitalization, its initial target.
But add that to Skyway, add it to the gold mines, add it to the diamond production, add it to the Sushi Master, add it to the resorts, add it to the, all the other stuff. Put them all together, what do you get? Holy shit. All right. You could do the same sums with a Skyway and get it to the $1,000 a coin. Never mind adding all together.
When you sort of when you put the numbers together like that, it's far too great for most of us to fathom a number that big. But here's something, and I realized this the other day, and if you look at most of us here, we very rarely have a daily conversation around the coffee table with our mates talking about money. The money might be, I bought a $10,000 car, or I've just mortgaged my house. I got a $500,000 mortgage. We don't really talk too much in the millions. And then here we are all of a sudden we're talking about the Skyway technology. It's a $400 billion company. And it's like, wow. And then we're talking about our portfolio. It's gone from 26,000 to 100. What is it now?
153 million. Yeah.
Like in 4 years. So we've gone from talking dollars and cents around the table. We're now amongst ourselves. We're talking millions and billions. And now we're talking about our own global portfolio reaching 100 trillion. It's like, man, that's just too big. Those numbers are too big, too quick. But here's the thing, and here's where I'm getting at with this. Does anybody know what the official name for 1,000 trillion is?
No.
It's 1 quadrillion.
I was just going to say, I don't even think my calculator goes that high.
Yeah, that's when it goes E12. Like it says, it doesn't put the zeros, it just goes E something.
It's like we've gone through our whole lives. We could never fathom having a conversation using that word in it, that we're actually co-owner of something that's potentially going to be there in the next 8 to 10 years.
It's funny when we all met in London, Neil. Do you remember that when I wandered in and you, Rita, and Andrew were there? And at that time, I was a VP. I did a selfie and say, am I worthy to sit at this table because you're all presidents? But mate, imagine the conversation we had there about where to base ourselves, tax minimalisation, all the stuff we talked about in that conversation. I just stood back and went, holy shit. I used to talk about how many beers we nailed last night and how much my head was thumping. And you sit around a table and talk about that stuff instead. It's like mind-blowing.
You come away energized. The reason it's energizing, though, because most of us have gone through our lives to this point, and it's like it's dream stuff, it's fantasy stuff. Oh, that could never happen. But
brainwashing from the system.
Yeah, but now we're actually involved with a company that's making it happen. We're making it happen, and we're seeing this thing roll out literally daily. And this is what I really like about. And where our next burst of energy is coming from is when we're live on an exchange. We're going to be able to see the value of this value we're talking about going to the moon. We're going to watch it on a daily basis.
Absolutely. No, I'm going to
guys,
can I come in there, Andrew?
Quickly jumping there.
Yeah,
Yep.
come in.
Yeah. You know, oh, sorry. Then. Go on.
No, that's cool. You go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just saying, the point you guys were making, we've got a guy who just left the call, Brian, and he's got about 15 serious networkers in his team who have all been burnt and scammed and left broken with broken promises, and all of them are afraid to fund their accounts. I think what's happened at that meeting yesterday, and the news that Brian is now going to be out to give these meetings, and I know that Andrew and I are going to pick them off one by one. There's no reason now that it won't open their eyes, and the penny might just have dropped a little bit more, Andrew, mightn't it?
Yep, absolutely.
Can you confirm, Andrew, no one's mentioned, is that 10% bonus on our current CRU tokens that we bought, is that definitely going to end at the end of December? No one's mentioned it, or will it be extended?
They will be anything you bought between stage 1 and stage 8.2. They'll be added 10% of what you bought, not what you earned, not the bonus ones.
No,
only
what you
the
bought,
packages you bought. 10% will be added on the 8th of January, I think they said, from any package in 2019.
Between now and the 8th of January.
Oh, between now and the 8th.
I just don't see, well, there's so much benefit for them to continue that. I just wonder why they wouldn't, but obviously perhaps they've got their own reasons.
Well, they've continued the promotions right through the 15th of January that we're running at the moment.
It's a gift.
It's a gift, yeah, 10%. Here you go.
Come
Like,
on.
No, it's a gift.
A lot of us are going to get hundreds of thousands of tokens.
If you don't want it, just transfer it to me.
Yeah, well, just send it back.
Yeah, I'll have it.
We'll take it.
No, that's okay, guys.
All right, then. Yeah, you're happy then. Okay.
Leon, what we wanted to say, bud?
Yeah. There's two things. There's two things. And the one is with regards to. It touched on what Ron has just said. Also got some guys looking, and they're sort of lurking. You know, I got some people sort of crowding around and having a look at this, and for some reason, the timing for all of this coming together in 2020, I had that sort of epiphany the other day when I realized that when you talk about good vision, you talk about 2020 vision, right? So it's almost like 2020 is that year in my life, and I think in the world economy, where with these alternative moves where we know that the economy is in danger, and we know that the fiat currency is really wonky. It's almost like it's almost like people's eyes are being opened, and that like 2020 is sort of like somewhat like a, you know what I'm saying, like a, I don't know. Yeah, it's like a moment. It's like this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so it seems like that is starting to happen, because I'm as we're on this call right now, I'm getting these weird messages of people saying, okay, tell us what's happening with that company of ours. And that's something that I had a conversation with Hawkey last night as well. I don't know what the heck to call the company. Yeah, I lost some speed. When we, I've done a lot of video material and stuff, because I love doing that stuff. I love compressing stuff into a nice sort of package where in 3 or 5 minutes I kind of explain what it's all about, trying to get a basic overview or a basic idea across. I love writing. I'm a script writer. I'm an actor, so I love putting this stuff together and making. So I did a lot of those, and then we're not allowed to use Sweek, and I understand why. We want to get this.
Pulled the rug out from under you, didn't we?
So it says all that video material was gone. I sat with one trying to edit and see if I could edit Sweek into N.E.E.W, and it just didn't work. But anyway, so I had to let that go. And then we really started moving with NEEW, right? And then there's this announcement from Andre coming out saying, listen, reserve NEEW. Don't overuse NEEW. We want to reserve NEEW only for the celebrations. So in your presentations, in your whatever. So I thought, oh, what the hell? So right at this stage, I don't even know what to call the company. I just go with CRU, with a Cryptounit program as a front runner, and I use the 2 entry points. The 8 rules, the 8 rules of the private, or the 8 rules of the private investor. I kind of use that as an entry point, and I'm really excited about the genius of what's it called, the game, the genius of finance.
Genius of finance, yeah. So Neil, can you give us a bit of
clarity
on the name?
That vision. Sorry.
I was going to say, if Neil has any clarity on the name thing, I still call it the new group of companies, because that's what it is. All right.
Well,
yeah, and what it is what it is. But Andre was very adamant that we should not. In that interview that I watched with him, he said, "Please, we don't." He still used the word, or the translator used the word, "Don't wear it out." We're wearing out the N.E.E.W, and he wants to preserve it for only the celebrations once a year, the big conference once a year. So that's really the N.E.E.W conference. And so at this moment, I don't know. Hawkey says to me, "Let's go with TNG."
Yeah.
Transnet, and that's Transnet Group. I thought it was, and somebody said, "No, it's Transnet Global." So I'm not sure. I'm excited about a company. I don't know what its name is.
I hear your pain. I feel your pain, Leon. I've watched your videos. I think they're fantastic. I've shared them all over the place. And yeah, it's like, how do you fit the new way that we are? How do you redo all that? It must be a bit of a nightmare for you. But let me just take you back a little bit, and where this name change first started. First of all, we're told we can't use SWIG. We can't use Skyway. Got to get it out of our whole system. So it's understanding why that came about and behind that. So first and foremost, and I'm not sure if any of you know, but Andre is under a non-disclosure with Anatoly. Right? Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Okay. So that if you're a visionary, is exciting. The reason, if you understand the reasoning behind Anatoly, so it's Anatoly not wanting us to use the name because it's detrimental, obviously, to stuff that he's working on and with. But if you go back to where we first started with Anatoly, it was business to customer. So cut it out, Alex. So Anatoly was the businessman and we were the customer. So and we raised a lot of money. We helped them get Skyway to where it is today. And then, so now he's at a point where, because he's done so well with the design, he showed it working in the cold, he showed it working in the 2 extremities, and he's now got some big players on board, which is now working business to business. So the last thing he needs is one of these stupid C people and the customers coming in and just stuffing this whole thing up. So the fact that Andre's under a non-disclosure, I thought he might have said something last night, but he didn't. So that's him holding fast to his non-disclosure and his honouring Anatoly back the other way. So that was the first move. And then so Andre's right, cool. We'll just go. We'll just move away, take everything out. We'll go with SWIG. And of course, that wasn't really the right fix because SWIG still has Skyway in it. Skyway Invest Group was still interlinked with all the bullshit. And I think Leon, you were talking about some issues. These people that just don't have a clue and poo-pooing it. So still had that Skyway link to it. So that's when we've had NEEW there for quite a while. I've been certainly presenting it for over 12 months. And we got that out there, and then he just like pulled the rug out from underneath us. It's like, but I can understand what it is in him doing that, because I guess he doesn't want to, and if you think about it, he doesn't want to alert the controllers, if that's the right word, the controllers that when so many people around the world start talking this new, what's it all about? So it opens up us to be more innovative in the way that we do our presentation. So we can use the NEEW in a presentation, but we can't advertise it. So, and as he said, so what we're doing is kind of a sacred thing, and we want to preserve it. and bring it out, you know, when we're literally blooming ready to the Jack in the Box, straight out the blooming box, and here we are, you can't do anything about us now, woohoo! You know, and that's where we use that in all our conferences and stuff like that. So Genius of Finance, you know, the 8 rules of private investing, these are ways that we can actually probably help attract people to presentations who wouldn't, from a different angle.
Curiosity approach.
Yeah.
Curiosity killed the cat. You don't have to call it a name at all.
Yeah.
Just have a result.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many other different ways of doing it. And it's like, you know, that some of the best forms of advertising, it might come out of this room here. You could have you could probably have a whole session on coming up with some different names to call presentations and webinars or whatever, and sort of run with a list of them or whatever. But yeah, so it's understanding that. I feel like I've waffled on a little bit, but I just hope I've sort of brought a little bit more clarity in that sort of journey from Skyway, which, you know, wow, best thing since like Breach to like now. So, and I can see why, you know, we've all been stung, we've all been got up there, knocked back down, and lost a lot of money. And so, if you look at the traits and the sort of fear in a lot of people, when some of the silence, you know, Andre has not broken one promise. He's not broken one promise. But if you look at just the change, oh, it's a name change. Oh, they didn't launch. You know, they haven't done this, they haven't done that. But he hasn't broken any promises. But people on the outside, to them, it may appear like, oh, seen this all before. Here we go. It's only going one way. It's only going down, because they just haven't kept up with the knowledge and the news and everything that's going on. So I think that too has been a contributing factor. Which, to me, once we get this coin live on the markets, it's vindication for a lot of people this year. A lot of people.
A lot of people are going to be eating their words too. Now, we've got a bit of a lineup of people want to share. Francis was next. We better start catching up here. Francis, what did you want to share?
Yeah, there was a couple of I had a question initially. The 10% is only what you actually have in your bank account, on your wallet, right? It's not on the packages that you're paying off.
If you're paying off a package, it'll be paid what you've actually got in the bank, in the bag.
That's right.
Hang on, unless
and your portfolio.
Your portfolio. So if you're paying off $1,000 pack and you've paid off 3 payments, you'll get 10% on the 3 payments you've made.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. And then just to say, this is what I'm doing with the name thing. I'm just saying the company that I'm involved in, and then people are sort of coming back to me and saying, well, what is the company you're involved in? And then I throw the videos. So that's how I kind of get around that name thing.
Yeah. I mean,
just a comment.
Yeah.
Now, Alex was next. You wanted to come out and share. I think, you know, did you want to share something, Alex?
Yeah, I was talking to someone, I can't remember who. I've talked to so many people in the last few days, everybody's excited. That he didn't so much, this is what I've been told, and I don't know how true it is, that he doesn't so much want us not to use the name. It's the new economic evolution of the world that he doesn't want us to say. I don't know how true that is. But we just call it Shark Tank 2.10 or version 2.1.
If anyone asks me, I say it's the new group of companies. And specifically the crypto unit, the new group of companies. And I say more specifically, the crypto unit program is one of our products within our group of companies. And the people just go, okay.
I think what Gail has said here, TNG new, I think works well too.
Transnet group or the new group of companies, yep.
When there was a Facebook something came out on Facebook, and it's like, if you look at some of these other big names like Nike and Microsoft and all those other companies, they actually started. That's not the name that they started out with. That some of these big names have actually started out as a completely different name. So that's us going through something similar now.
Mm-hmm. Now, who else had their hand up? There was someone else just before. Brendan, do you want to ask a question? Look out.
Yes, please. Just one quick one. If the portfolio is about 153 million at the moment, and there's about 1 million people on board at the moment. Just about. That works out to be about $155, $153 per person. Is that like a fairly small portfolio when you consider there's 1 million people, $153 per person
That's great.
in there? That's good. I mean, that doesn't sort of seem like how people could actually individually profit large amounts of money when they've only really got that share is only like $153 in their name.
Well, I reckon Neil's going to jump out on that one, and I'm going to jump in after him.
To me, you wouldn't actually you wouldn't compare it to the individuals. You'd compare it to the amount of crypto units. So we're going to release like 80 billion crypto units over the next sort of 8 years. So we've already released nearly 30, and so we're about to release the next lot of 20 billion. So we're not going to release that all in one go, because it's just going to water the whole thing down and it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be strategically released. So what you're witnessing here now is if we've got the corner of my page here, and then we're going up to the other side of my page, what you're witnessing there is, so right now, well, we're right down this corner and we're just getting started. So if you're getting involved with this for a quick return early on the piece, then this is probably not the investment for you. But if you're in this thing for the next sort of 10, 20, 30, 40, or 300 years, this graph here I'm only talking about across my screen here is probably only 20 years max. You imagine where this is going to be at 300 years and the generational wealth that's going to come off of the portfolio. So
we'll be ahead in the jar by then, but it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Because we'll have the money to buy that sort of technology for ourselves. Transfer our consciousness into a computer or something. Anyway,
we haven't started with any of our the big things in our portfolio. There's no liquidity in all. There's no liquidity in the basalt. There's no liquidity in the transport. And we're still waiting, for the sushi. There's still a lot of growth to come. So we're in our early stages. So to actually be getting anything right now, I think is mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing to get, and if it's only even sort of a fraction of a cent. But there's nobody else out there that's doing that on a monthly basis. There's a lot of big companies out there that don't even pay what they call them dividends. We call them a profit bonus. So massive. We're just getting started. So any little snippet that you get, and this is the thing with network marketing too. People go, "How much have you made?" And I'll go, "Well, your answer to that is, well, I don't know, because it hasn't stopped coming in yet." I can't. It's not. It comes in every month. I don't know. It just gets bigger every month.
It does. So.
And what we've got to remember, guys, sorry to just plug up here, is that we've got 20 different sectors where it's all coming in from as well. So, each of them are going to take off at different times and have different cash flows coming in. Now, I've been doing a lot of research on a lot of stuff lately, so I've been a bit quiet and not off the channel, and I've been researching other products and that are coming in, but that's another story. But, okay, so a wealth into a millionaire, he has 7 different avenues of income coming in. Okay, so we've got 20. So, the mind blows on where the potential that we are going to.
Absolutely.
Massive.
Absolutely.
It's the same 22 now.
Cool.
Okay, sorry, 27.
Not going to argue over 2.
She's got 41 people.
Guys, with regards to the mining, there were 2 questions two topics I just quickly want to touch on. Then I unfortunately have to go as well. The one was Andre was talking about, talking to people in South Africa with regards to mining. There's a mining deal that he's working on. He sort of just alluded to it, but that was one of the things. When something locally happens, when the company that we're working with, and the whole NEEW and the Crypto unit ecosystem, when it touches base on in the actual country that you are, that you reside in, and when there's an interest in there, it kind of helps. It kind of also helps you, you know, to connect to people in your own country and get them across so that they really see that this thing really is globally, you know, touching ground. It's or touching down. It's not just, you know, Ukraine or Russia, but it really is. It really is a global organization. Look at it. It's actually hitting home here.
Yeah.
And then when Andre said, if you have a sushi master, for instance, in your area, and you're sitting down, or a grill master or whatever, or a pizza master, and you know, you take somebody out to dinner or to lunch, and you show them the logo, you know, the CRU logo or the whatever, the new logo on the branding, you go, well, thank you very much. You know, the lunch we've just had is kind of on me, but it's not, because I'm getting paid for it. You know, so that'll also really, when you start in this real world economy, in this real, you know, new economic evolution, where it really starts touching ground, that's when it really starts becoming real, when you actually see the stuff happening. And again, that's where that 2020 vision comes in. It seems like this coming here is going to be that, where really this is going to start getting, you know, really down to it. Then the board games that he mentioned as well, or who mentioned it? When was it mentioned? Yeah, they're bringing out a cheaper version of the board game, of the Genius of Finance. To organize gaming nights and gaming, you know, sort of Saturdays or whatever with people. You just play the game, and then whoever wins the game, you tell them what they've done right. The game master will go, well, guys, the reason why this guy won this game is because he did this and this and this and that. And then you draw that all the way through to exactly what we're doing in the global investment portfolio and CRUnit. Whoever is losing money, who's ever fallen out, gone bankrupt in the game, again, you can point out why that's happened, and then you bring them in that way. So listen, this is a game, but we can show in real life how you can become part of global investment portfolio, and how you just not just playing monopoly money, and you know, you're the richest guy as long as the game is on. But once the game is over, it was just a game. Here, you can now extend that game into real life, and you know, get yourself into some CRU and some EIPs. So exactly. that was a great thing. Then the last thing I wanted to mention is that he did mention Andre now yesterday when talking about Anatoly, Mr. Unitsky. He was saying that he was going to make a deal with him, and he, you know, even if Unitsky is not warm to the deal initially, he actually said that he's a good businessman and he's a good deal maker. He knows the art of the deal, and he will get him around to do that. To enter into the deal. What does anybody know what he was actually talking about there? Because I think some of it got lost in translation as well.
I heard what he said. I wrote it down. He actually said he was on about the amount of shares that they got in Skyway, and he was on about although we can't sell them ours at the moment, he was looking that he could, and in the new year he was going to meet with Unitsky. And he wants to bring them to the market so they can be traded in the ITC market, which is the international trade market. And he was going to bring, he wanted to discuss about setting them at between $1 and $5. But he did say that the decision was obviously Mr. Unitsky's. But like he said he's a good, he can strike a deal.
Negotiator.
So to him to see if he could get those to market in that way.
That makes sense.
So he's on about getting them to market by the ITC markets.
Yeah. If you understand how the initial rollout was going to be, was Anatoly going to an IPO, and then we would have a 6-month stand down before we could sell anything. So it sounds like Andre's trying to create an avenue for us to be able to not have to worry about that sort of 6-month stand down, or unless he's actually thinking of something sooner. I'm not sure. But I haven't heard that. I must have been dozing off at that point.
Yeah, I actually wrote it down.
Yeah, but if Andre's talking about that now, you'll know damn well that he has fully researched that, and there will be more pluses for that than minuses to actually work through and do that. So that's really, really exciting, because I know a lot of people, and with that, would love to see that where we all started with this, with the touring sport, to actually see some real movement and financial gain from that. There's been people waiting now for over 5 years with that. So to have a mechanism available to everybody, that's really exciting. So let's see. Did he actually have a time frame on that?
Well, Neil, just my little understanding about crypto, because I've been in crypto for a little while, white papers do come out for a little bit of a time before they actually present the coin onto any markets. And I have sort of said this before, I believe it's a great opportunity for us to show, because they've got to reveal the white paper, which will bring out and show everyone this is legit for those people that don't think it is legit. Everyone's been holding off. So we can work with this, it's a little bit closer just to show we are 100%, and, for those non-believers that are still out there.
There is a team being formed, so and bringing that to the market. And I think if you remember the first slide that you brought up there, Andrew, did show it had white paper in it. That first, I think, number one had the white paper. So, and I think there's a crew there working to bring this together, and that's, so what's it got there? Yeah, white paper. So January, selection of the team to create our own blockchain and create a white paper and a roadmap until March. So if you look January through to March, where there'll be a team created. So I'm pretty sure, and I'm not sure if he asked the question last night about people that are familiar working within the blockchain that could maybe come onto the panel and contribute to creating the blockchain and the white paper and everything that comes with it. So yeah, and I think it's quite good that he's going down that route, because it's too big a decision for one man at the top to try and cipher all that stuff. There's so many different pieces to it, but to have a team of like-minded people that understand the blockchain and how it all works.
Well, just one on that. He was talking at Bitcoin and Ethereum networks, right? They've got limitations on the number of transactions they can do a minute. Like Bitcoin's only like 6 or 7 transactions a minute. Ethereum's not that much better. But like Ripple, for example, which is an open source, can do like 15,000. Like, there's so many, and that's pretty stable. Banks are starting to use that already, the Ripple one.
I've heard our blockchain will be able to do 6,000 a second or something. Is it a second or a minute? I'm not sure. It's higher than all the most of the other players.
Yep. So perfect then. Yep.
Yeah. And that's what
I reckon one of the better blockchains out there as well is actually the BSV, which was actually the original design of the original block became very low. Whereas the BSV, it says they are it's got huge potential, and there's a lot of people starting to jump onto that and bring their whole infrastructure onto that platform. So I do have somebody that would like to be part of that, to sit on that board if possible, to give some very relevant information, because in the light of where this industry is moving to, it's very important that they make the right decision now going forward, because otherwise it could be a very costly change of direction later on. To get it wrong now is just not worth it.
I'm sure, and I'm sure there was a link or some direction given as to sort of how to get on there, whether you actually, he actually did a poll, and I think the poll was just sort of knowledge within the crypto market industry, and I'm not sure whether he followed that up at the end of it with, feel free to put your name forward to get on that thing. Now, but he did say too that there are a lot of these crypto blockchains out there, the different systems, and they're all pretty much designed around the existing infrastructures that we're used to working with. We're building something completely different. And so a lot of these people that they have looked at sort of haven't had the ability to adjust to what we need moving forwards. And I guess what he's looking to create for all of us is security for all of us, legality for all of us, so that when it's launched, that it's all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted and that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, I can imagine it's not something that I'd put my hand up for. I'm certainly not savvy enough in that department. I only really know the basics. But yeah, but definitely looking to get more technical people into the team as they bring that forward. So,
because he said that a number of times, he wants to make sure all the thing is legal and lawful, so they can't get caught out. He said it several times. Dan.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So if there's any major questions that need to be answered, maybe deliver them to me, because there's a girl that I follow now on Instagram and have on YouTube for a long time that shares information about the blockchain all the time.
Yeah.
She's well knowledged up. She's probably the most knowledgeable person that I know of. Yeah, so if there's anything that I can possibly send to her, and maybe she can reply to me, there's a possibility that can happen.
I'm pretty sure last night that he said that he's actually said the name of a lady that's heading up that team, and I for the life of me I can't remember it. Somebody would have to go back and read. Yeah, do you remember him saying that? He did.
Yeah,
say
he had someone in mind that's going to head up the team, and they were looking for other experts to do like a brainstorming kind of panel, which is Alex. You got your hand up.
Yeah, I've got a guy in my team who actually has created a blockchain, his own blockchain. So where can we get that presentation? That must have been when I snored for 5 minutes. What was it? The questionnaire or no? What was it?
I've actually posted it in our group, Alex. I've posted the questionnaire in our group in the high-speed team. So most of you are in there. So yep. So you just go in there and grab the thing.
He's actually about to have a big meeting with a huge team of people for blockchain right now. So there's nothing he doesn't seem to know.
Cool. This is that 2020 vision coming in. I love that. I love that.
So guys, that's pretty exciting what we've come up with today. If that's not enough to get you excited and motivated to go, I don't know, mate. I'm buzzing at the moment. I don't know how much sleep I'm going to get. So I'll be starting to send out contacts ready for the 2020 on the 2nd of July, 20 and 30. Sorry.
There's that other part too, is where as we move through with all of this, there's the ability to actually tokenize your own portfolio as a token, create your own token in your own name in our system. Just another money-making thing that's going to come up in the future.
Man, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I've actually heard that for about 2 years now. When he first drew it on the board in Mint, it's interesting.
So that'd be all about when you've got your own business and then promoting it, your own token. I'd say I couldn't see it any other way, really. Why would you want a token?
Not necessarily your own, like your existing like business in what we'd call the real world, but potentially your structure and value of your structure and your own portfolio. You can actually somehow tokenize it and make your own coin. We'll find out more about that as we go, but that's certainly been spoken about more than once, and he did talk about it last night again as well. I remember saying it.
Well, I think also you just said it there, Neil, that the value of your own structure. I don't think people realise how much they're worth and how. Mate, I don't know about you, mate. Well, I know how quick yours is growing, because I know mine for the last week and a half has been growing by about 100 a day. Every day, bang, 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 bang. 100 a day has been popping into the team. Right? Insane.
It's an asset. It's like, you to talk about these people that, build your structure. Build your structure. You're creating an income You know, just my income alone this year, and I'm probably a little bit ahead of Alex, but you know, it's been life changing for me and my family. And it's not from the assets that I've acquired and the education that I've acquired. It's actually come from the bonuses out of the structure. It's massive. It's truly massive. And as we go into 2020, and when I look at what I generated or was generated through my structure from March through till now, well, do you think about what's coming? Everything's going to be bigger. It's going to be on the mainstream. Everybody's going to be able to see it. But whatever you made in the last 9 months with this is going to double or triple at least in 2020. So I don't know if any of you know, and if you're building structures, how to go and see how much you've actually already earned. You go into statistics and in your back office statistics, and then go and look at partner rewards, and then just add up how much you've had in bonus, not only bonus in bonus units, but also bonus CRUs, and take that number or whatever it is, and triple it at least, because that's what's coming next year. And if you want to do more than that, then share it with more people, because that's an asset. It's a massive, massive asset. It doesn't go away. You just think about it. When we do the next big thing, and everybody in your structure is going, wow, I want some of that, and then all of a sudden they tell somebody else, and then your structure just grows.
It grows with or without you once you hit critical mass. But here's the thing, guys. I sponsored someone last week that has been in the Ponzi game, and he's built teams up 400 or 500, back to zero. Build a team up to 400 or 500, back to zero. What we do here is we build it up to 400 or 500, then add another 500 to it, and the first 500 add more, so you're actually at about 2,000, right? And then you add more to that, and then you're just adding to your team, not starting again all the time.
And the thing is with your team, as it grows, every month we bring out a new product, and so they've got their education. They know how to put at least 10% of their money back into their investment portfolio. So every new product we come up, they go and buy a slice of the new product. Voila, you get a slice of the pie of that as well. It's massive, and we're just getting started. We're just getting started,
mate. When the penny drops, like it has for all of us. I mean, look, we've still got damn near 40 people in after nearly 2 hours of our fireside chat here. So, hey, Gypsy, yeah, how you been? I didn't see you there. You must have been on page 2, and he's just been promoted to page 1. Oh, dear.
He's been there the whole time.
Has he? I bet he's been stroking his pussy, has he? Where's his cat?
He was earlier.
Here's the thing with this.
That pussy is very cute. Put it back up.
Hey,
Sorry. Where's your cat, Tibbsy?
The other one's gone.
It's better looking than your cat, Andrew.
Andrew.
Oh, my cat.
Yours is a scrawny Filipino one.
Andrew, it's his new pussy. His other one passed away.
Yeah, I heard, yes, and sorry. Here's the new one. There he is.
I say, Andrew.
Yes.
Oh, how cute.
Almost albino. That's another 2020 sign as well.
Yeah.
It's a blue ragdoll.
Oh,
Nice.
Sorry, that was a bit cheeky, that comment. I apologise for those who were offended.
Yes,
Ron.
please.
Ron.
Yeah, I was only going to say, Andrew, if you want any idea of what's coming, all you've got to do is look at the enormous smile on Neil's face to know that he probably knows something that a lot of people don't know.
Oh, Neil knows a lot more than he's letting on. Neil is.
So.
Why do you think I invited him on the calls? Hoping he dropped some of that.
It's been awesome having you on, Neil, to be honest.
It's been really awesome. Yeah.
Here's the thing with this business. You know, I did it all last night. Here in New Zealand, it started at 1 a.m. in the morning and it finished at 7:26. And it was daylight. I saw the sun come up at like 5:20 this morning.
Me too.
I've dozed on and off throughout the day, and Alex said, "Oh, do you want to come on?" I went, "Oh, okay." So I was literally falling asleep here, waiting for 10:30 here in New Zealand time to come on here and like, I'm so energized now. And that's what this does. It's like when I talk about this, we're talking about money in our futures. It's like, I'm wide awake now. You know, here's the time here in New Zealand. I should be fast asleep. It's 20 past 12. Good damn, I'm still up.
Fat cat's in bed, isn't it? Who got bribed into that when as a kid? I did. 7:30 bedtime. Fat cat's gone to bed. Am I showing my age here? I mean, I'm 50 tomorrow. Bloody hell, that's scary, isn't it?
You 50 tomorrow?
Yeah.
Jesus, you look like you're 90.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Andrew, here in New Zealand tomorrow, so I have to sing you happy birthday. Okay?
All right.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Birthday to you. Happy
birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
In non-synchronous fashion. Thank you, guys. It's funny though. It's usually forgotten between Christmas and New Year. But yeah, no, it's a bit of a reality check. But man, what a future we've got. Hey, it's all about looking after your health. And Neil, you're still recovering from an operation. You just you had hip replacement.
Yeah, I got a brand new hip in here. So that's why I'm in my bed. I sort of got my crutch here, my trusty crutch. So they want me to, so I'm 6 weeks on these bloody crutches. They only want me to sort of 50% weight load it. So I've got so much stuff I've got to do, like opening up office here in New Zealand and getting this Genius of Finance going, getting presentations going and conferences. So as well as sort of getting out and start doing the Master Profit and everything. So yeah, I need to get, but mind you, if you've seen me walk the last 12 months, I've gotten slower and more crookeder. So.
Well, 1 foot points forward, 1 point sideways, and it was like a bit of a shuffle hobble, wasn't it? The happy hopper.
I'm really happy to report they both point straight now.
They both straight now. Hell.
Yeah.
Look out, he can run. Hey, you'll be able to ride those segways better now.
Exactly.
Well, my nickname, if anybody hear them, they call me Steelo. So Steelo's like running the bases. So I certainly was an athlete in my time. So we'll see if I can get back there anyway.
Awesome.
We'll see.
All right, guys, we've been on for a couple of hours. Is there anything else that people want to ask or share?
Yeah, yes.
Go, Alex.
Can everybody's got their cameras on? Or most people? Everybody put your camera on.
You haven't. There we go. Oh, scary. Some have.
So everybody put your cameras on and let's have a show of hands. Who's going to be in Vietnam come March?
Yeah.
Those that show up, blow up.
Here's one thing that I've found, and the success of my structure, it's been, and I put it down to going to every event. I used to go to GoPro in Las Vegas just before Christmas, but my hip operation was scheduled for the same time. I couldn't get back in time, so I was really disappointed I couldn't go. But I've gone to every one, and when you take this thing seriously, when you know what this is that you've got your hands on, when you come to an event, and like if you haven't been to an event yet, I could just get to one, because if you like any other MLM company, we go out there and we're lonesome lambs out there that we get beaten down every day. But when you come to an event and you hear Andre speak and you see and just talk and hear the energy from everybody else in the room, it's like you just can't help it. It's just, it's just so exciting. And you always get great information to go away from there. And you're generally, when you let people know that you're going, then they themselves know they're obviously taking it seriously. They're going to an event, and then so they're going to take you come to an event, you get more energy, you get more faith, and that was one of the ending slides that Andre finished with the other night is faith. When you have faith in what this is and where it's going, people can hear that from you, your conviction and what it is that we have our hands on, and man, you'll become unstoppable. This group here could easily be one of the biggest groups in the whole organisation. Just a choice.
Alex, next. Oh, you just still put your hand down.
No, I'm still here. I'm still got a question. So all right, if I can't see everybody's screen because I'm on the phone, but drop a 1 in the comments if you're coming to Vietnam, because my business has exploded by going to events, and I don't intend to miss another one. I missed GoPro because I actually put my hand up and was ready to pay for GoPro. What are you doing over there? But my son was going to graduate primary school, and that I had to put my priority way out which priority. So next year, I've already bought my tickets. I'm going to GoPro. So who's coming to only 3 comments on there?
Oh, I'm one of them.
How many of us in this room?
Yeah, well, the 2 presidents and Brendan put ones. No one else is coming.
3
Hey.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, I got a phone call. I got distracted. What are we putting a comment in for? What?
You're coming to Vietnam.
You're coming to Vietnam. Put your 1 in the comments.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Right, now, guys.
I can't wait to see you on the dance floor. This guy can dance, guys. Seriously, I can't wait to see him on the dance floor. I just can't keep still.
Settle down. Settle pedal.
Mate, settle
But,
pedal. This guy wilts flowers as he walks past. He's that hot, I tell you. All the girls just melt. Look at him. He's shoulders and bones. Hey?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, no, we've been funny. Sorry, Dan.
I'll take it.
Yeah, people showing up at his events now just to see Dan.
Oh, he's pretty good.
Prodigy, son.
And just out of my team who's on the call, which is Dan and Brendan and Scott and everybody, who's coming on my jet to Moscow?
Oh, yeah.
To Moscow, yeah. Well, that's where we'll be at.
I'm hiring my jet. Everybody has to come to Melbourne, and they're getting on my jet, and we're going.
Plan.
Just putting it out there.
Now, for guys
you're not
who are
welcome on the jet,
nervous,
Andrew, because you got to come from the Philippines.
all right, well, I'll fly to Melbourne to come on the jet. That's all right.
All right. Are you paying half?
Well, yeah, if we earn that kind of money, yeah, why not?
Well, that's all right then.
Now, if you guys are nervous to say you want to come to Vietnam, it's 3 months away. Right? Yes, turnover is down at the minute, but it's turning up. Who's seen it turning up? I know I have.
Yeah, I have.
Right? And we just got verification that this is freaking awesome, and it's going to make it easy. So you earn the money to get there. Alex, continue on from that.
I'll just say a few things I've heard about Vietnam. Sorry to cut in, Alex. It's very cheap to be there, and I've heard nothing but good things about Vietnam. My mum's been. She said it was amazing. Friends have been. They've always had a great time. So just letting people know that it'll be a great experience, and it's a great place to be. Very friendly people, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's going to cost you, what, not even $100 a day to be there.
Nah.
Exactly. I looked at tickets. I looked at tickets to take my entire family, and it's literally about $2,500. Not even that.
For 4 people.
Well, actually, I've got 2 adult children, so 3 adults and 2. Oh, holy crap! No, I got 3 adult children because Tyson's now 12. So 3 adult children, yeah. And I put that in. So it was about 2-2 for all of us to go. And my daughter's been to Vietnam, and as I was talking about it, she was walking out the door to go to work, and she goes, "I'm so jealous." I said, "You're coming." She goes, "Okay." She doesn't come to anything, so I'm like, "Oh God."
Right. What we'll do on that, guys, as well, is do the tours. Like Alex, you did the 5-day tour on the bus.
Oh my God!
How cool was that?
Okay, I'll put my hand up, and I was crying. I wasn't going to India. I have my own issues why I wasn't going to India, and there was no way in hell I was going. I got off the plane, and I went into the toilets, and I cried. I'm like, I want to go home. And as soon as I got on that bus, my whole experience, it was just blows your mind. Totally. What we experienced on those 5 days was mind-blowing.
Dibsy was there too, with us on the bus.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Dibsy and Kim were there too.
Yeah.
Arthur's on the call, I think, if he's not driving.
He was
Oh,
there
if he
before.
hasn't
Oh, no,
fallen
he's still there.
asleep.
He's still there.
Arthur was on there too. You know, and it also built up a rapport with everybody. Like, you know, how many of our team were on that bus? How many of us?
There were
of our
16 of
team?
us on the bus. All right.
Yeah.
We'll be doing it in 2 Greyhound buses now. We won't do a little mini bus. We'll be on the 2 big buses, and we'll be going around like a bloody army. All right.
Vietnam's cheap, guys. We're going to get there. We're going to get Avril out. We're going to get her working her magic again. Poor girl.
I'll let you guys be on the bus. I'll be on the scooter behind you, enjoying it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Well, if you I don't know if they have scooters that fit fat jumbos.
Yes, they
but
do.
Yeah. There you go. I'm coming too. Shut your face.
I'm with you. Well, I ride a motorbike around here. I love it.
You're not fat.
Well, beg your pardon. I'm hefty. I'm not completely over, but I'm pretty hefty. Anyway.
I don't think they have. You're tall, aren't you? You've got
I'm 6 foot.
But, you know, anyway, a little bit probably off the beaten track.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so guys, Vietnam, plan on it.
Let's make a plan. Those who want to go to Vietnam and want, you know, and it feels like it's a bit far away, make a goal. Write it down. Put it down on paper. Put it in your room. Do the steps to get you to where you need to be to get on that trip. Because I remember when I joined this company, I was so not doing anything with it. And then when I started building, I was told, if you want a leadership role, you've got to show up at these events. And I'm like, yeah, cool, sweet as. And then 2 days later, I'm told I have to go to New Zealand. And I'm like, I don't even have a passport. I think I could go on in 24 hours. And I haven't looked back. And, you know, this is coming from somebody who couldn't put food on the table when I first started. So, you know, the power of intention is so incredible, what you can do when you put your mind to it.
Okay.
And you don't. And,
Right.
yeah.
So here's what's going to happen. Everybody grab your pen. Get a pen, piece of paper. Get a pen. Everybody got a pen?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to write down how much money you want to earn in 2020. How much you want to earn in 2020. Write it down. Except you, Dibsy. You've obviously already got it in your head. Right, everybody done that? Right. Now, once you've done that, I want you to cross that out and double it. Right. Next thing I want you to do is write down Vietnam.
I'm going to Vietnam.
I'm going to Vietnam. You write that down. And when you write that down, you're putting some energy and just actually mean it intensely. You have no idea how you're going to get there. Not a clue. The bank's empty. You've got bills coming out your ears. It's like you have no idea. Write it down. I'm going. Just write it down.
You visualize yourself in one of those little motorbike toot things floating around, looking at little Asian people everywhere. Experience it. See it, guys.
What are the dates for Vietnam, just out of interest?
28, 29 of March. All right, and for top managers, there'll be 3 days after that. So, and we're doing a 5-day tour before. So, you're going to be flying there on about the 20th and going home early April.
But I mean, you know, when we create that intention, I've seen it, even the master projects that we do. How it down is just so mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing. When you physically put that pen to paper, there's some sort of transformation happens between, and you'd be amazed at what happens. And you know, you can do that for the whole year, some of the things that you want to actually achieve, and even put it out for the next 4 or 5 years. You come back and you can put that piece of paper in a drawer somewhere and forget about it, and you come back and go, oh my God, I did that. Wow, I did that. I had no idea how it was going to happen. But you put the intention out there and it happens. Freaky stuff. That's 2020 vision, I tell you.
And mate, it works. How many times have I written stuff down and it's just materialised, didn't know how? Like, you know, I did I said I want to go leader manager before the promotion came out. All of a sudden, leader manager, and then bang, pop, 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 all the way up. My mate, it's so true. You write stuff down, it happens. It's magic pen stuff.
When when I went and did the Master Profit course up in Minsk, February, March, I think 2018, they flew Andrew and I up there, Andrew Hawks, and we got a whole workbook there, and we had to write down, you know, what our vision was going forwards, and like, here I am sitting at president, and I never wrote it down that big. I think I probably put up PA. I just didn't see president in it, but here I am now, less than 24 months later as president. Like, oh my God. So write those sorts of things down as well. What level you can see yourself at here. Don't understand how or how it's going to happen. Just write it down. The power of that is mind blowing.
Yeah.
Because I know if you write that down in a couple of years' time, you look at it and all of a sudden you're there. Well, I know the income that comes with that. There's income attached to those couple of letters. It's well worth it. Well worth it. Look. On that, I need to get going. It is way past my time.
We've been on for over 2 hours now, guys. So, mate, that's got to be one of the best calls we've had in quite a while, because I don't know about you guys, but I am bouncing off walls excited. Tired as, because it knocked it out of me last night. But, mate, for those of you who want into the 20 and 30 training that's inside Hawksy's group, we can get you free access to it. I'm running with it. Proclaiming it to the world. I'm printing out all my little things to write. You know, I'm running at it.
No point putting your hand up though if you're going to do half of it. You know, you've got to be sold out to do this training. It's pretty intense. So let us know and we'll put you in.
Hey, if you're not ready to do it on the 2nd and you want to do it on the 15th, do that. As long as you do it. All right. Yeah. So jump in the group, get the training into you. Just watching the training might inspire you to actually run with it anyway. But that'll turn you from earning a few bucks to a 6-figure earner. Because here's the truth. That 13 days I talk about when I was in the construction yard, that was my 20 and 30. Alex went from 0 to manager in 13 days. That's her 20 and 30. All right, and we both bang 6-figure earners. All right, proof right there. Never loaned anyone else in the room. So it works. So you want to do that with us? Change your life. And if you want to turn it from a 6-figure to a multiple 6-figure or 7-figure, do it multiple times. So every quarter, do another 20 and 30. Alex.
One of my goals that I put down after I did my live today is that I'm turning that 6 figures into 7 by the end of next year.
Well, we're going to do a 20 and 30 every quarter. Like we do one January, do another one March, do another one June, and then off we go. We do that, we'll be 7 figures in no time flat. So,
yeah.
Guys.
Yeah, I was just talking about that, Andrew. Just letting everyone that isn't in the training, just what they're saying, you know, just one little skip it is, you know, go out and talk to 100 people. You know, potentially out of that 100 people, you might have, you know, that 30 people join. It's just getting yourself out there and having those little conversations, get your elevator pitch sorted out and having yourself prepared and ready.
It's just numbers. But if you condense those numbers into a short period of time, your energy is much higher and you'll get a better result. Right? It's like that barrier we talk about. You've got to hit it with some power to knock it over. And that's what you've got to really compress it so you explode through the barrier to get to the freedom and choices. We talk about it all the time in the meetings. So, but that's what we're doing. And it's a way for you to hear it from somebody else, from Eric Warry even. You know, pretty handy.
I've seen a different Andrew Hawks. You know, I was with there last year with Andrew Hawks and Mans and Mila, and you know, disappointed I couldn't get there this year. But I mean, I've seen. I think I even commented that it's a different Andrew Hawks come back from there. The excitement and the knowledge that's been gained by all these big leaders up there is really just inspired the whole group of people that went up there, and that's another thing that we put on the calendar to get a big team of new or Transnet people up there in December next year. It's a really great way to finish off the year and just so inspired with all sorts of information and tools to really set you up for another year. And you know, you think about if we're going to have you know, when we get 5 million people, which is every chance that's going to happen within probably the 12 months in this organisation, we're not stopping at 5 million people. You know, we'll go for 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, 100 million. You know, we're not stopping with this. At some point, as this gets more and more momentum, they're going to, you won't have to ring them. They'll be ringing you. What are you doing? How do I get involved? That's how I see this rolling out, because we get more and more momentum. So you can either wait till that day and just be a quiet mouse, or you can start doing it now. You just imagine, like, I've got 30,000 people in my structure right now, and I've earned over a couple of $100,000 US in the last sort of 9 months. And it's like, just imagine what that's going to be like when there's 90,000. You know, I see there being at least over 100,000 people in my structure within the next 12 months, if not more than that. So what's the income going to be then? And I'm no different than each and every one of you right here now. I'm no different. I was a rubbish guy. I had my own rubbish truck, and I've tried to run a couple of businesses unsuccessfully. It's like, I'm no different. You know, my story's not far off of Alex's, you know, when I'm on the street living in the car. I can do it. Anybody can do this.
Well, there's 3 of us. I was in a construction yard. You're in the car. Alex is under a bridge. I mean, pretty common story.
There's a few similarities there, but there is a little bit of difference. Okay.
Yeah. But mate, it's unbelievable. So obviously we've recorded this. I'll drop it up on my YouTube channel. If you subscribe, just grab it and share it to those who need it. Because I reckon if they sit through these 2 hours along with the 6 from last night, it's going to really change some things.
You don't need to go through the whole 6. Just go and scroll through, and that's where all the meat and tatties are. Cool. That's where the guts is.
All right, guys, we'll call it. Everyone have an awesome night. Gail, I'll speak to you in a sec. I'll jump in your room. And
thank you.
And everyone, be awesome. Let's go get this. Chase it down, guys, because it's a great way to live. All right, guys, everyone, be awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Thanks, Neil. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay,
Yeah.